Welcome to the Bread Box, the channel dedicated to Commodore computers. Today we're going to look at a game that pretty much fell under the radar, ARNIE. Don't forget to also check out my other videos on my channel. It's all about Commodore computers, both new and old. And don't forget to subscribe as well, much appreciated. So you may have brought the C64 just recently and got bored with the games on the carousel. Or you may have a Commodore 64, you're new to the scene, you're not sure what games to play next. In this series, I look at games that may have fallen under the radar, but definitely worthwhile playing on the E64 or on the original Commodore 64. Of course, most of us have played Rambo on the Commodore 64, great game. Or maybe we've played Commando, even better game. But have you ever played ARNIE? You know, ARNIE from Commando, Predator, Terminator. Wait a tick, that's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. Obviously, Zeppelin Games decided to rely on the fame of Arnold Schwarzenegger to sell the game. But does this game stand up on its own merit? Let's find out. But just beforehand, here's a little tip for the C64 users. This is a T64 format of file, and if you're used to loading disk images on your C64, you'll notice that if you push fire button, they'll load the game into the disk drive. And then you just press the menu button to get out of the media access menu. And then, of course, you type in load semicolon star semicolon comma 8 comma 1 and press return. So you can alternatively just press the launch button on your joystick and it'll do the same thing. But now that loads the game. We understand how that works. But now if we're new to the E64 and we're trying to load a T64 tape image, and we try and do the same thing, you hear that? Pressing fire doesn't load the game into the cassette deck. Instead, all you need to do is press the B button on your joystick, and that will load the game. Nothing else needs to be done. Now if we go back into the media access menu, you'll notice that it's been loaded into the cartridge slot, not the cassette deck. But don't worry, because going by your manual, this is normal, so don't panic. But that's how you can load T64 game images on your C64. Now back to the game. ARNIE turned up in 1992 by Zeppelin Games out of nowhere. It retailed for £3.99. Is it a good game? Well, let's find out. Just a little bit of information about the Zeppelin Games. I found quite interesting in my research that Zeppelin Games was a UK game developer based in Tyne. It was owned by Brian Jobling. He started making games when he was 14 years old in the early 1980s, and by the time he was 17 years old, he started Zeppelin Games. But he wasn't the mastermind behind making this game. Rather, Chris Butler, working for Zeppelin Games at the time, made ARNIE. Now, why does that name sound familiar? Well, Chris Butler was also the mastermind behind making Commando, Ghosts and Goblins, Turbocharge, and other great games for the Commodore 64. So that explains why this looks a little bit like Commando, wouldn't you agree? It's a bit like a 3D version of Commando without the classic Rob Hubbard music. But that lack of music, please don't let it put you off, because it's still a great game to play. But I do recommend playing it without any cheats, because it's only one level, and with cheats activated, it only takes about 10 minutes to get through the game. With no cheats activated, it is a challenging little game. You do find upgrades throughout the game as well. You start off with an Armalite AR-15. You can soon find an M60 machine gun, also a rocket launcher and a flamethrower. These upgrades have limited ammunition, so then you automatically revert back to your Armalite AR-15. The plot line is very simple. It's one of those classic plot lines. You're that lone wolf, that lone soldier who's infiltrating an evil dictator's base, and he doesn't take too kindly to being infiltrated. So he sends out his soldiers, his helicopters, his airplanes to try to take you out. Simple concept, but it just works well. Now, I love the dying scenes. When you get shot, you turn into a bag of bones, basically, and when your enemies get shot, they fly across the screen from the impact of the gunfire. It's all very dramatic, nice little touch. This game is quite chaotic and it's got a lot of enemies to fight off. Really well worth playing. I really enjoyed it. What do you think? What does it look like? Do you think it's a game that you want to try? It is worth checking out. If you're a fan of Commando, Rambo and those types of games, it's definitely worthwhile checking out ARNIE. As I mentioned, there is only one level, but this level is expansive, it's huge, and there's a lot of variety in it as well. So it's something for everyone in this game. While I was playing ARNIE on my VC64, something happened to my joystick. Over the last couple of days it's been getting a bit loose, the joystick stick, and in my excitement of playing ARNIE and avoiding these baddies, it managed to pull out my joystick stick from the base. And this meant I was just standing still in the middle of a battlefield, pretty much an open target to my enemies. And I was thinking about it when I had this joystick stick in my hand and also my base in my other hand. Well, I could just push it back in and carry on playing, or I could just push the fire button and keep on killing my enemies. Then I thought, oh, I better fix this for real, because obviously it's going to keep on popping out every so often. So we'll do that right now. If this has happened to you, or if it does happen to you, this is how you can fix it. Because see here, the micro switches, they're fine and stuff like that, but this is how it pops out. You can hear that. It's obviously a screw or a little bolt that's actually come out of my joystick stick. So we'll open it up and see where we can find that little screw. Looks like there's only just 4 screws holding this whole thing together. It's quite a narrow little hole, so I've used a smaller Phillips head screwdriver to open this up. And you can hear it sounds like a little baby's rattle. And carefully open it up, and oh yep, I can see the screw or the little bolt right there. Oh, it's pretty straightforward. It looks like it's just one screw, one bolt that I need to screw back in there. And that should be all good. So I'm just going to push the stick back in through the hole. Drop the screw in there and I'll screw it up. I just noticed that the screw or the bolt is actually slightly bigger than the other screws, so I had to use a bigger Phillips head screwdriver to do up this bolt. I'm doing it up nice and tight, but then I was thinking well, maybe it would be worthwhile putting a dab of nail polish on the end of the bolt head, just so that it sinks into the screw thread. Oh, I keep saying screw, the bolt thread, and it might actually keep it all together for longer. But either way, it's a very quick and easy fix, so if this happens every couple of months, I'm not overly worried. But I'll just put it back together again, just to make sure it doesn't pop out. But it looks like it's going to be all okay. Alright, so yep, I can't pull that out, it's actually quite tight again, so it's all good. I think that's a job easily accomplished. Great, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this little video on ARNIE, a great little game, a hidden little gem. My last video was on another hidden gem, Project Firestart, so check out that video as well. That's a great survival horror game, the start of the genre. Oh, that's it for today. I'll see you next week for my next video, and it'll be something about Commodore 64s or the E64 or other Commodores. Until next time, ciao.